Hi and welcome back to Real Talk. I know it's been a while. I'm really sorry it's been so long. It's a shame, but I'm going to continue on now. The reason for my big departure is basically a move. We moved, and not only did I not really have anywhere to set up a computer where it wouldn't get destroyed by dust due to our renovations, but I also spent all my time on the renovations, so it was really a double whammy to the YouTube channel. But we're a little bit more settled in now, at least halfway settled in, and there's a computer, there's a place where the dust won't destroy the camera, so here we go. Actually, we don't produce as much dust anymore either. We're finally through the dustiest phases of the demolition was definitely the dustiest. We did a lot of work. We did a lot of German renovations here. So, I want to talk to you guys about a really useful tool in the grammar, English grammar today. This is for German native speakers who are speaking English as a second language. So here's the sentence, or here's the rule, but this is an example sentence. Es hat sich nichts geändert, obwohl ich das Ihnen mehrfach gesagt habe. Sounds like you're about to get fired. In English, it would be, to be very tight to the translation, it would be, to this day, nothing has changed, even though I've explained that to you more than once. That sounds extremely strict. So if it were a more collegiate, more friendly kind of atmosphere, it would be, nothing has changed, or you might, instead of saying, up until this day, you might say, still, nothing has changed, even though I told you that more than once. You throw in explain that to you more than once, and you really start to sound like you're coming down hard on the person. So this sentence actually, in my opinion, in German also comes down pretty hard on the person. Es hat sich bis heute nichts geändert, obwohl ich das Ihnen mehrfach gesagt habe. Yeah, so here's the main grammar that you want to watch out for. A lot of details like this get lost when you practice through speech and you don't really drill the grammar. So in English, instead of obwohl, you'd say even though. Even though. So nevertheless performs the same function, but in the sentence with nevertheless, the order would be opposite. So still nothing has changed, even though I told you that more than once. Or you could say, I told you that more than once, nevertheless, nothing has changed. But you would never use a mixture of those orders. If you use nevertheless, the negative thing, nothing has changed, goes afterwards. If you use even though, you put that negative at the beginning. So negative, even though, positive. For nevertheless, it's positive, nevertheless, negative. If you think about it kind of mathematically like that. Now on the flip side, you got the German Trotzdem. So, ich habe Ihnen das mehrfach erklärt, trotzdem hat sich bis heute nichts geändert. So that's nevertheless. Trotzdem is nevertheless. It's all about the order, and it works the same way in German as it does in English. Even though, and nevertheless. So, it's really good to know these things. It's really good to study the theory of it and use it in practice too. Because if you just use it in practice, you could end up saying maybe just even or just though. Or you might use nevertheless instead of even though. And these are the kind of tricks that if you fix these problems, you sound really quite good. I was listening to a podcast about the economy, and you got some Canadians on there, which, you can notice. But then you get the Canadians, the Americans, the Brits, and then like someone from Europe, and it's like, geez, like these sentences are kind of bad. Like, we're talking about something pretty serious. Here's the economy. These are pretty, smart people. The conversation is about a pretty heady topic, and then you hear these kind of weird sentences every once in a while where you know what they meant, but it took you longer to understand what they were saying because some preposition was wrong or something like this was just missing. You know, sometimes it's just not there. And that's the kind of thing you gotta have. You gotta have that, even though I don't even know what that's even called. It's a conjunction of some kind, basically. And if you don't have it, if it's just gone, I mean, you can figure it out, but that's providing there aren't any other errors. Because once you have 2 or 3 errors, piecing it together, even as a native speaker, can be pretty tricky. You have to really believe you know what they mean to piece it back together, don't you? So let's just go over this one more time. If you're going to do a sentence where you start with the negative, it's negative even though positive. And if you're going to do a sentence that starts with the positive, you would go positive, nevertheless, negative. And that's just it. That's the real talk. See you next time.